to do these check marks where when you click it, something happens. In this case, the motivator tools, I wanted to give people tools to motivate them to make it through the pages on this app. When you click this, it drops down this multi-state item and will let you see your score. This is a to guide me through this process. So it places a number in a database on the back side so that as you go through the screens, it will know to start an audio guide to guide you through it. Otherwise, if you don't have that, it'll just let you go through the screens unguided without the extra guide. So for example, I'll show you. So that brings that back and forth. But then the guide me, if it is unclicked, when we start, this will not start automatically. But if we go back and we click it, that will start automatically. For the first 20 seconds of this minute, it will also start on every consecutive page. Take a deep breath as I speak. All right, so let's get into it. So I have multi-state items that are in my foreground here. This is the foreground just used on this first page right here. But on future foregrounds, it is moved down to a lower place on the foreground so that I have the same check boxes in no matter what state this foreground is in. So what we have here are multi-state items. So this is a checkbox that is a multi-state item. I'll click in, I'll show you my different states. This first state is without the check mark. The second state is with the check mark. And so I can tell it that when you touch this image, it has a consequence. It changes the state to the state with the check mark. So the single tap, so basically, when you touch that picture, what I've done is I've added this action that when you single tap it, you interact with the component, you select your multi-state item, and then you select the state that you want it to go to. In this case, you want it to change to be on. You want it to be check marked. And then also, I'm having it set a number in the database on the back end, and that number will stay consistent. If I click it, it'll set, it's actually a Boolean, so it sets it for true in the back end database. I'll show you that. And that way, when you open the app the next time, it'll know that it is still true. All right, why don't we go to that back-end database? So actually, we have to go to the project. To click that, and then you can get everything that is available to every screen in the project. So I have several databases that are on my back end doing different things. So in the database 1, I'm going to open it up. And this is where I use a place. This is the place I store all the things that stay consistent, whether you have the app open or closed from day to day. You have to add a property, in my case a Boolean, and you name it, check marked if you wanted it to be that, and enter, and it'll put it down to where it's in the right order. I'm going to delete that though, because I already have mine. So what I have done is when you click the guide me check mark, it sets a Boolean to true, auto track on. And then you push save once you've, all right. So now when you click that state, that makes the Boolean column be a false. So when you close the app, it'll stay false for when you open it next time, hopefully. I also have another category for the motivator tools so that it says true or false, or you can tell it to say a 0 or a 1 when you click it. So let's see that one really quickly. Oh, again, that is on my foregrounds. So here, there's our multi-state. I'm going to click the image. So when you single tap the image, it changes the state to on, which is this one. It changes it to a check mark. And then it makes my B visible. That's my motivator tools up here, which is also a multi-state item. And then it sets that field in my database to 1. You can do it either way. You can set a Boolean to true and false, or you can set a number value to 0 or 1, or whatever you choose. I'll show you where this B becomes visible. So on our foreground down, here is our multi-state item for the B. And what I have is the B and this description of what the B does and the score outside of the frame. And then when you go to B visible, this is the other state in the multi-state item, all those things drop down. Now I have another multi-state item here, so that if you touch this, if you tap these words right here, it changes it to either, oops, that is, okay, so there's our multi-state item. I've added a interactive area just to make sure I trigger that multi-state action. So I'm going to double click that multi-state, and you can see all the different states I have here. What I'm doing here is this B climbs from state to state to state, and I just have them delayed. When it starts on state 1, I just tell it to move to state 2 over a 20-second period of time. But for this right here, this multi-state, it has different words when you click it, or the dotted line for the B. And let's just see again how it works. Okay, so remember that my motivator tools was checked, and the B is down. And I'm going to click here. There we go. It's changing that state, and this guy is slowly making it from one part to the other.